This is the oath-taking ceremony of the 22nd Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan.
मैं इमरान अहमद खान नियाजी
कि मैं खुलूस नीयत से पाकिस्तान का हामी
I, Imran Khan, do solemnly swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to Pakistan as a Prime Minister.
This is a historic moment for many reasons. A. First time legendary sportsman and World Cup winning cricket captain is going to become the head of the state. B. A country like Pakistan, which was mostly ruled by military dictators through martial law, is now experiencing peaceful transfer of power from one civilian government to another. But here is a question. Was the 25th July 2018 general elections in Pakistan free, fair and just? Let's find out.
Elections in Pakistan never really take place on an even or a fair playing field. And this time it seems that all the odds are stacked against the PMLN.
To be optimistic about this election in Pakistan because we're having an election. At long last, Pakistan has gone from being a country where the democratic process was being interrupted by inorganic and unnatural interventions over and over and over again to having an election over and over and on the 25th of July.
A lot of our interlocutors, and I would dare to say most of them, they raise serious concerns regarding the role of the military. So for us, it's an important issue to follow up.
Almost every international observer group, Human Rights Commission of Pakistan, and all the political parties, apart from the winning PTI, which is Imran Khan's party, had raised serious concerns on the transparency of the election. According to them, powerful military establishment of Pakistan was involved in pre-poll rigging, media censorship, and political engineering to support Imran Khan's party against the former ruling party PMLN, which was the party of former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. The team of European Union observers had presented their findings in front of the press.
The electoral process of 2018 was negatively affected by the political environment. A number of violent attacks targeting political parties, party leaders, candidates and election officials severely affected the campaign environment. Many of our interlocutors acknowledged a systematic effort to undermine the former ruling party through cases of corruption, contempt of court and terrorist charges against its leaders and candidates. We have concluded that there was a lack of equality of opportunity.
The leader of former ruling party PMLN and the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, Nawaz Sharif, is in prison along with his daughter on controversial corruption charges.
मैं और मरियम इसलिए कैद में हैं.
Me and my daughter Maryam are in prison because we started this movement to bring dignity to your vote.
And there are serious allegations on military establishment that they have influenced the candidates of former ruling party to change their loyalties. The Secretary General of Human Rights Commission of Pakistan, I.A. Rahman said,
I call it dirtiest election. The electoral rhetoric is full of hate. Parties are defeated in elections. They can be totally wiped out. That's different. But for parties to be wiped out before election is something that has happened this time. So that is why I call it very closely managed election.
Just after the 24 hours of the election, all the parties came together and completely rejected the results of the election. The president of former ruling party and the brother of ex-Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif completely rejected the results of the election and asked for an independent investigation.
There was a flagrant violation and we reject these results.
It's not about seats. It's not about government or opposition. It's about the future of this country. It's about the mandate of the people. It's about Pakistan's well-being, our posterity. It's a larger issue.
Additionally, some media houses, journalists and the supporters of opposition have first time openly accused military and spy agency ISI for the election manipulation. And also first time anti-army and anti-ISI slogans were heard on the roads in front of the army headquarters in Pakistan.
News just coming in. Anti-ISI slogan shouting has taken place outside the Pakistani army headquarters in Rawalpindi ahead of the general elections in the country. In a highly unusual development, the slogans were shouted by supporters of Nawaz Sharif's party PMLN. The protesters accused the army of backing state terrorism, saying that the July 25th general elections were fixed and rigged by the country's spy agency.
The country's top journalist and TV host Talat Mahmood explained the severity of media censorship by the military.
There was a time in 1980s and 90s when generals used to control the media. The situation has gotten worse. Now a retired colonel is writing our news stickers and editors have to broadcast and publish them even without changing the comma position. And this is happening with every TV channel, including mine. This is happening because the army has controlled the honours of the media houses.
But this time, not just the political parties, journalists, civil society raised their voices against the unconstitutional role of army and ISI, but the sitting judge of Islamabad High Court came out 2 days before the election and revealed the interference of ISI in the judicial system. Justice Shaukat Aziz Siddiqui said,
Nowadays, ISI is fully involved in the manipulation of judicial proceedings. The officers of ISI are everywhere in the judiciary. They make the judicial benches and mark the cases according to their desires. Let me tell you about my Islamabad High Court, where ISI had approached my Chief Justice and told him that do not let Nawaz Sharif and his daughter come out from the jail before the elections.
Interestingly, according to the historical facts, the involvement of military establishment in the political system of Pakistan is not a new practice. But the question is, how they do it? For that, former Prime Minister of Pakistan, late Benazir Bhutto, had explained the situation once.
I found it to be a state within a state. I was the Prime Minister of Pakistan. And while I was the Prime Minister of Pakistan, I found ISI officials approaching my parliamentarians and asking them to defect from me, asking them to vote against me. It is the agenda of certain retired generals who then make and break governments to get their favorites appointed in the ISI and even to some extent in the judiciary and the civil administration. And then they work through these to turn Pakistan into a theocracy. In my second term, I've heard about ISI officials approaching the Chief Justice of Pakistan and offering him the interim prime ministership in case he helped topple my government.
To understand in the detail what actually happened in 2018 general elections in Pakistan, I have tried to contact many political scientists, analysts and experts, but I got the refusal straight away because no one was ready to comment on the political role of military establishment, and due to the sensitivity of the issue, they had the fear of losing their jobs. But finally, I have a special player. I have a special lady, very brave lady, one of the most senior political experts in Pakistan. Sana Zara is with me today. Thank you, Sana.
You're welcome, Shahzooor. It's not a problem.
Sana, I would like to know what actually happened in this election. How do you read the situation?
Well, I think it's a mixed bag, and people wanted a change, and they certainly got the change. And the new Prime Minister Imran Khan, who is certainly not corrupt, but he has many weaknesses, and he is yet to be tried on the big arena. And at the same time, he has been tainted by the fact that the army had played a strong role in this election in order to support Imran Khan to become the next Prime Minister of Pakistan.
So, Sana, do you think that army is inescapably involved in this election?
Absolutely. I mean, as you know, one of all the differences between former Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and the military establishment was mainly related to the policies. The army wanted the absolute control over the foreign policy, and as far as my understanding, Imran Khan has only two options. Number one, he can do whatever army says in regard to the foreign policy, or challenge the army's dictation over the foreign policy and take the total control of it. So I think this is a very important question, especially at this moment where the relation between Afghanistan and Pakistan has only just begun to normalize, and the relation with India are terrible, and Pakistan's relation with the USA are even more terrible.
So it's mean like we can say that Imran Khan would have not been a prime minister if he wasn't fit for the army.
Yeah, we can say that, but what army did was essentially wrapped up Nawaz Sharif by putting him into the prison and on the corruption charges, and then tried to decimate his party. A lot of his party figures has been jailed and persuaded to leave the party, or some of them have been forced to join the Imran Khan's party, and such things had begun 3-4 months before the election.
So what do you think, what a kind of agreement would have been made between the army establishment and Imran Khan?
I think the agreement between the army and Imran Khan would have been made at the following points. A. The civilian government would take care of country's internal matters such as economy and governance. Or B. It seems like in the Imran Khan government, army would be taking care of foreign policy and war on terror.
And what do you say about the other parties, those who are in opposition but participated in the election? They have serious concerns over the results. So are we going to witness more agitation in the future?
Well, I think we are for a very long controversial hold, because what had happened is that the two next largest parties who won seats, the People's Party of late Benazir Bhutto and the PMLN, the party of former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, both of these parties are challenging Imran Khan and saying we are not accepting these results of the election 2018. Now, if that happened, it will be catastrophic, because means these parties would not take part in parliamentary sessions and there would be constitutional crisis.
So far it has been established that country's military and security agency was completely involved in the manipulation of 2018 general elections results. But in the 71 years of the country's history, out of 22 prime ministers, only 5 have been elected through electoral process, and out of those 5, 3 have been assassinated and 1 was sent to exile in the past and now in the prison for the next 10 years. With such a history, it would be even hard for Imran Khan to rule the country for the next 5 years, despite of the fact that he is in a love affair with the military establishment. And it is also a part of the history that a love affair with the military establishment is not a long-lasting affair. Right now, I'm with the political expert Shah Madan, who's quite famous for his political predictions, and people call him political palmist because his predictions always come true. Mardan, people say that you have political prophecies. So can you tell us that would Imran Khan be able to complete his 5 years constitutional term first time in the history of Pakistan? Because it's quite clear now that military establishment has done everything in this election to support him and to make him the Prime Minister of Pakistan.
People think that I am an astronomer or political palmist, which I am certainly not. In regards to your question, well, I think that even though military had clearly supported Imran Khan in this election, but it's not guaranteed that he would complete his 5 years constitutional term. And interestingly, no Prime Minister of Pakistan had completed yet. So the most recent challenge in the upcoming months for Imran Khan would be the selection of new Chief of Army Staff. So it will decide the future relationship between Khan's government and military establishment. And you know that in the history, the wrong choice of Chief of Army Staff paved the way of martial law. So I think if this happened this time, so it would not only be a disaster for a country which has nuclear power, but for entire region. And there is a possibility of civil war in the country.
In the 2018 general elections, surely it should have been the right of the people of Pakistan to elect their government without any interference, because a country cannot be truly democratic until its citizens have the opportunity to choose their representatives through free and fair elections. Otherwise, critics call it engineered democracy. Thank you very much for listening. Bye for now.